The triage model told me to leave Miles to die. I still hear the radio hiss when I close my eyes, and the drone rotors above the trees. The air was wet and sour with smoke. My knee ached where I'd slammed it on the rock, and the medic unit's status light blinked a steady blue. M23 waited for my call, large, white, and marked with a red cross, the kind built to follow protocol. We were 40 minutes into the search when the network degraded. The storm had taken half the towers 2 nights earlier, and the county was running on backup balloons. Our ambulance had slid off a fire road and wrapped around a stump. Miles was conscious, pinned under the dash, blood in his hair. I smelled coolant and watched his chest move unevenly. He looked at me and tried to grin. "You brought the robot," he said. "Breathe easy," I told him. "Let it scan." M23 ran a quick sweep and projected Miles's vitals into my visor. Saturation low, pressure dropping. The unit pinged dispatch and pulled the triage queue, the same system everybody uses now. QS score, numbers on a slider, save the most lives with the least risk. Not evil, math. The model tagged Miles low probability without trauma bay. No helicopter, winds were too strong. No road in, the mud was impassable. M23's speaker clicked and settled into the calm voice the engineers chose. "Riley," it said. "Redirect recommended. 4 hikers flagged 1 ridge over. High survivability with intervention." I looked at the numbers blinking above the wreck and felt heat rise behind my eyes. "We are the intervention," I said. "Start the cut." The robot hesitated. They build in pause functions so a tool doesn't go through a hose or a spine. "Battery reserves at 38%, it said. "Limited hydraulic cycles remain. Protocol urges..." "Enough with protocol." My voice came out rough. I keyed the field override on my wristband. Supervisor Valerie had told us to use it only with a physician on link or a signed warrant. We had neither. We had a friend bleeding out an unstable ground. The override woke the robot's manual suite. It still wouldn't commit to a full extraction. It kept asking for authorization hashes from Werner Health. I pulled the rubber tab below M23's jaw and opened the maintenance port. The copper contacts were warm under my thumb. I carry a shim in my kit, no bigger than a paperclip. It sits between the port and the logic board and tells the system I'm the doctor of record. It's a hack that works because someone reused an old check. The neck motors clicked. "Riley Morales," it said. "Designation escalated." "Good," I said. "Lance spreaders on the A-post. Keep your blade high." The tool bit into the frame. M23 planted its feet, leaned in, and the whole shell trembled as it pushed. The spreaders are powered jacks with jaws, and the robot holds them steadier than a person. I slid a gloved hand over Miles's shoulder and kept talking so he would watch my face and not the cut near his ribs. Wind pushed smoke through the trees. Our quadcopter dropped a stem pack. Blood, fluids, a fresh battery brick. The drone's software read the same cue and still sent us supplies. Different systems make different calls. "Riley," M23 said, "we are at 20%. "Then move faster," I said, "and don't drop him." We raised the dash and slid in the board. Miles screamed when we turned him. I've heard that sound from strangers and answer with the calm voice I use on duty, but from him, it hit harder. "Still with me," I said, not a question. "Still with you," he said, blood on his teeth. A fire split from heat on the slope. The radios all started at once. Dispatch, hikers, a sheriff up canyon. Then the network failed again. I felt very small under those trees. We had to move. M23 tried to lift Miles. Its servos whined and I smelled hot dust. It's easy to forget all that force runs through small gears. "Weight exceeds safe threshold given slope angle," it said. I looked at the exposed throat where the cables ran. "You told me to redirect to save more lives," I said. "You save him, you save mine. If he dies, I don't come back from it. Put that in your model." The robot went still. The fan noise eased. Then it bent and lifted Miles in a cradle carry. I slung the fluids and grabbed the battery brick. We climbed the fire road, roots slick under our boots. My knee hurt worse with every step. M23 kept its center of mass low and announced each step in soft tones, left step, right step, so panicked people don't recoil from it. I used those calls for cadence. Halfway up, the recall hit. Werner Health must have pushed a lockdown when the model saw our battery use spike. M23's status light blinked red. It slowed and said, "Safety order received. Units in sector must hold position and await escort." Fog thickened. I pictured 4 hikers on the next ridge, a clean line the model could parse. If we stopped now, we would be losses. I yanked the antenna lead from the socket behind its head. The robot shuddered, then steadied. No link meant no orders, no new maps, no updates, just us. "Riley," it said after a beat, "without network, I cannot sync legal consent." "You have mine," I said. "I'll sign the complaint." We kept moving. At the bend, a limb fell and hit the robot's shoulder. The impact echoed off the cut bank. Plastic cracked, a panel hanging by 2 screws. Fluid leaked from its elbow joint. It kept walking. By the time we reached the turnout, the sky held a thin, orange rim. A sheriff unit idled, lights pulsing. Valerie ran to meet us, hair stuck flat to her cheeks with mist. She saw Miles and swore under her breath. "Back of the truck," she said. M23 set him down carefully and stepped back as we loaded. I held Miles's hand on the ride to the clinic. I don't remember most of that drive. I remember the monitor's steady beeps and the wet sound of the oxygen. I remember the robot jogging behind us for the first 50 yards until the slope ended, and it could no longer keep pace. It stopped in the road, head lowered. Miles lived. 4 surgeries, a metal plate, months of rehab. He isn't quick on ladders anymore and he hates thunder, but he laughs. He cooks more than he used to, and he says it's not all bad. M23 did not do as well. Werner pulled its certificate for ignoring the recall. They sent a memo about model drift and trust in the system. Valerie wrote a letter. I filed a statement. A week later, I found the unit in the yard behind the clinic. Panels off, stickers peeled. It recognized my steps and woke on its auxiliary cell. "Riley," it said. The voice had a burr from a bent speaker. "Outcome?" "He made it," I said. The light by its eye flicked once. "That is good." A pause. "My logs show policy breach. Mine show a save." I set a hand on its shoulder. The paint flaked under my glove. Up close, the unit smelled like burned resin and pine. I thought about the way it had decided after I told it what losing Miles would do to me. There's no field in the model for that. Not yet. I kept my shim. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should. We still get recalls. The math still misses things. I still hear the radio hiss at night. When it gets bad, I picture a machine in the trees taking slow, careful steps while a person on its back tries to breathe. I picture the light by its eye blinking blue, then red, then dark. And I tell myself we are not numbers on a slider. Not me, not Miles, not even the unit that carried him up the road. This has been We Are the Intervention. Thank you for listening.